Welcome back. And in this section, we're going to review what men should wear on their video date. And in fact, you can translate these tips to real life dating. Right now, we're going to focus on your presentation on camera. So for me, Shannon, the really when it comes to dressing men, it is all about the fit. And although I am not a stylist, women can definitely tell when a man has put some effort into his clothing. Agree or not agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, an anecdote from a recent first date a woman had with one of my clients, she noted that he was really dressed nicely and that she thought from that meant he was really serious about getting into a long-term relationship. And so then I asked him, I said, what did you wear on your first date? And he said, oh, just a button-down shirt. So it doesn't take that much, but boy, does it make such an impression, especially on the opposite sex.
Yes. So that being said, a button-down shirt versus a t-shirt, two different looks. And perhaps, if you've been on a series of dates where you've shown up that kind of casual cool, just throwing on a button-down shirt can make all the difference. And on top of that button-down shirt has to fit your body. I would say a big no-no would be to wear something that's oversized, or it's too big, or it does not fit your collar, or too tight. I think having tight clothing for men and women is a no-no, because then you're not comfortable. You definitely want to fit for comfort and style. The last thing you want to do is be fidgeting around with your clothing and worried about your appearance. Oh, is my gut sticking out, or is my chest, my hair is popping out of the place. So, I mean, manscaping, by the way, is really important. We didn't even talk about that, but assuming you've taken care of your personal grooming, gentlemen, men can manscape, and that includes getting your eyebrows cleaned up if necessary. Maybe you're rocking the COVID caveman right now.
Yeah, that's a common thing we're seeing and just even brushing your hair can be really helpful.
Yes, brushing your hair, brushing your teeth, making sure you've done the check that there's nothing in your teeth, that there isn't hair sticking out of your crevices, right? The nose, the ears, the shirt, all of those things. Make sure that they're trimmed. So that's what I want to say about the paying attention to those details, and also the cut and fit of the shirt.
Yeah, and I'd say it's really interesting because although you're not going out to a fancy restaurant for drinks or a cool club, it is a different type of first date. But we've seen some of the first time daters in the virtual video date kind of do the don'ts, which is essentially being so casual that it is a turn off and it isn't sexy. So it's kind of that blend of think sexy and approachable and clean, and all those good things translate really well for the first date because it shows that you're making an effort, you care about your appearance, and you're clean, and
there's a phrase for that, right? The phrase that we call it is dress to impress. I mean, if you're going to impress a woman or the lady that's in front of you, you could even take it a step further to knowing more about her style, her personality. Do you have matching styles? Is she more interested in that rugged look? You can still, rugged meaning, will you go for the denim shirt versus your clean, crisp white? Also, you don't want it to be a business meeting. So I'm really a fan of both men and women incorporating color into their wardrobe. In fact, you can see a stylist. I highly recommend it. I actually have access to a virtual stylist that can literally go in your closet, help you choose your perfect first date outfit from the waist up. Second thing is, we do recommend you wear pants to all your Zoom dates and Zoom meetings. What do you think about that, Shannon? Should pants be mandatory on a Zoom date?
I think it's only appropriate. And the other part is now and then to show your hands in the mix is kind of a important thing to do, as well as some of the things I've seen, because we do for my clients, male and female, when they're new to dating and virtual dating, video dating, we record a couple of sessions so I can see what they're doing. And I've often seen, the cross,
body language is so important.
And then sometimes they're looking up from their lap, and there's just a lot there that you can learn in terms of impressions you're making. So it's really important, even though you're feeling really comfortable and casual, definitely wearing pants and kind of being attentive. Almost think back to a first interview. It's that you're kind of putting your best foot forward. And
absolutely. And when in doubt, I think the rule is to keep it simple. Go for neutrals if you are choosing a color tone, or for men, obviously they say a blue suit invites so much, like you get hired more if you're wearing a blue suit versus any other color. So go for the blues, the navies, the grays. People will wear black for it to be slimming. But if you're going to wear black, then maybe wear black in contrast to a neutral background. What you don't want to do is blend into the background. And normally I'm not a pattern person. I'm wearing a pattern, but typically speaking, you want to keep things simple in the wardrobe. And because Shannon's wearing this beautiful purple shirt, that's really a pop of color, and her background is simpler. So you can definitely use your wardrobe to make a statement about your personality, and also, telling the other person a little bit about your style. Now, if you are going to go casual, they say the rule of thumb, and I would tend to agree, hoodies are just not the place, and sweats are just not the place for a first date. You can easily go for if you're dating in colder weather, a turtleneck is certainly sharper and smarter. A nice cardigan or a decent sweater is definitely 10 times better than a sweatshirt. I just think that it makes the wrong impression. Even if you wear a sweatshirt on date number 3 or 4, it's not like we don't know you have a closet full of lounge around gear. But again, you're dressing to impress and for the intention of making your best appearance in front of a stranger. This is somebody that you want to make that impression.
And I think let's face it, with many people at home and not getting out as much these days in 2020, everyone's gotten a little bit lazy with self-care. And so it is one of those things, just to stress, is get ready as if you were going outside the house and going on a first date, and it'll make an impression, and hopefully you'll see the reciprocal in your date, and you can also appreciate that.
Yes. And I feel as if I have to make this statement, because there are some people, and I just had this happen to a client who shared, I have to tell you this funny story. I went on a date with a guy, and he wore sunglasses the entire time. On a real date, he wore sunglasses to dinner. He greeted her with sunglasses. He never once removed the sunglasses. And she thought that was really weird or strange. I would have to say the same thing. If you are wearing glasses is one thing. Wearing sunglasses on a date, would not recommend that. Wearing a hat on a first date, would not recommend that. If I know that some men wear hats because they're concerned about balding, or they feel like they look better in a hat. I think if you're going to accessorize, gentlemen, and accessories are really things that women notice. I'm wearing my Fitbit, right? I'm wearing my Fitbit, but if you're wearing a nice watch, men can certainly wear jewelry. I love when men bling things up a little bit. They've got interesting jewelry to showcase. It's also a way to bring up topics. Hey, where did you get that? That's really interesting. Any pops of color also work very, very well on a first date. So those are some key points.
I would just add though, I would stick with what you would wear going out. And if you're not,
100%.
so I would say my clients would find jewelry on a man a turn off versus a turn on. A
Okay.
nice watch is probably the extent of it. So I think it's really being true to your own, personal style image, but definitely putting on the Ritz a little bit and not going too far either. You're not going out in a tuxedo,
Yeah.
but just dressing up to show you care, and you're showing that you're interested in the opposite sex.
Yeah, and care has to do, again, the overall presentation. Some people aren't aware that maybe you rushed, and it doesn't take much to press your shirt. It doesn't take much to just do a once over and make sure that you look great, you feel great, your energy is up. All of that is your dress code. And the best piece of what they say is that your most important accessory is your smile. So make
That's huge.
sure that you are smiling on greeting. You stay as friendly and warm and inviting as possible. There are times you see people, they'll put the smile on, and then midway, it's just like this drain in energy. It just looks so it's such a contrast, right? So you definitely want to be wearing a smile, particularly on the first greeting. Shannon, being greeted like this, leaning back away from the camera, showing you're bored, this is definitely body language of let's get this over with. You don't want to be slouching. So good, shoulders back. It's like you're in Sunday school almost, for those who can relate. You're at attention, you're paying attention, you're focused. That is what you want to bring to this meeting.
Good mojo.
Exactly.